So what is in admin? There is some questions. How to create user in MySQL and Oracle? How to log in as a specific user? What are the privileges granted to user? Permission and privilege giving. How to revoke privilege? We did not get any scope to log in as different user in MySQL. So to log in as different user in MySQL, except root, please follow these steps. So basically what this topic is, suppose we are opening MySQL right now. We opened MySQL. So it is asking for password to enter as a user. But in the case of Oracle, if we open it, it's going to ask for username. So here it is not asking for username. It is not giving permission. It is not giving option to log in as different user. By default, some user is already set here, which is root. Root. In the case of MySQL, by default, the user is there, username is there, is root. But in here, Oracle, we have system username. So we put system username, then we have to provide password. But here we have to provide directly password. It's not giving option to choose the users. We got logged in. Here also we got logged in. So what this admin topic is saying, it is saying if we want to log in as different user, how to do that in both cases, in MySQL as well as Oracle. How to do these things if we want to log in as different users. Then what we have to do is first we have to create the user. By default in MySQL the username is system, and here by default username is root, R-O-O-T. So first we have to create the user in order to log in as different users. So here is the query command or statement, you can say, how to create user in MySQL and Oracle. In MySQL, the command is create username. Suppose I want this username identified by, and the password. Let me give same password, or let's give password 1234. So create user, here create user, username identified by password. Let's see. Yes, our user got created. Query is okay. And how to create the new user in Oracle? So let's log in here first with the default one. So query is basically going to be same, but here we are not going to provide user and username and password in single quotes. And another thing is, before the username you have to write C double hash. This is the syntax. Maybe this one can also work out in your version of Oracle, but this is going to work in everyone system. So you have to write the same query, and before the username you have to write C hash hash, and here we are not going to use single quote. User got created. So what's next? How to access the database with this user name and this password that we just created. Let's see. in Oracle we created our username. So what we have to do is just write this command of connect. Then here it is asking for username to log in again. So just write 100. This is the username and the password is. So here you can see I successfully got logged in with the new user and password that we just created right here. So this is how you do in case of Oracle. How to do this in MySQL. So in MySQL, suppose we are going to close this and reopening. So it's not giving the scope to log in with the new user or different user. The default user is root and is just asking for password for that root user. So it's not asking for username. So how we are going to do that? If we are going to provide the new password, then it's not going to get opened. It's going to close this window. So window got closed. So how to open the database of MySQL with the different user or the new user that we just created, because it's not giving chance or option to log in with that. So for this MySQL, in the case of MySQL, we did not get any scope to log in as different user in MySQL. So to log in as different user in MySQL, except root user, which is by default, follow these steps. Take bin folder path from where MySQL is installed. So you will find this right here. Go to the PC. In your drive, go to the program file, and here is MySQL. Here MySQL is installed. Go to the MySQL server and copy the bin path. Go inside bin, copy this path, and then go to the CMD. Go to the command prompt, then set class path is equal to percentage class path percentage. Let me write it here. And many times in lot of systems, this query is not going to work out. So for that, you can use the another query, which is set path is equal to path. Instead of class path, we are going to use path. So let's do it here. Set path is equal to path percentage, and after semicolon, we are going to paste the bin folder right here, the path that we copied. Enter. Now use this query minus u, so minus p. So minus u and the username by which we want to get logged in our MySQL. Then the username that we just created, that is 100, and then minus u, not minus u, minus p. Enter. So it's not just minus u and minus p, it's with MySQL, minus u and username and minus p. So MySQL. So here it's asking for password. That is the password. So it is showing error because I have mistake in the spelling of username. So let's do that again. MySQL minus u username, correct this username, and minus p. So here we got logged in MySQL. Here you can see. So instead of the window of MySQL, where we can only log in as a root user, which is default, we have to log in our command prompt by using these queries to log in as a different user. So we created our new user along with the password in MySQL and Oracle, and we have gone through how to log in using those new users. Let's see what further we have. So here how to do this in Oracle. So suppose in Oracle, right now we are logged in as this user and password. So in the previous videos, we created accounts table in Oracle. Let's see, can we access that table accounts in the new user? So we are logged in as new user. We are trying to access the table that we created in the previous user when we are logged in as previous user. So select star from accounts. No, we can't. Or let me connect again. We are not logged in. No, it's wrong. 100. So invalid user logged in. So if you remember that we provided this C hash at the time of creating the username. So we have to log in with this. So connect this and then password. So it's saying user this like create session privilege. So we can't just simply log in like by providing username and password. We have to provide privilege to this user so he can log in. So for doing that, let's log in our previous account, which is system, and this inside this. So to access the new user, log in the new user, we have to provide privilege to the new user. So how to do that? Here you can also see we are trying to log in. It's giving the SOM lacks create session privilege. So we have to provide privilege. So we got logged in as root again. Now we have to provide privilege. But so for doing that, grant create session to username. Grant create session to username. To username, we have to provide the username, which is this. Session granted. Now let's log in as the new user. To do that, run the connect new user password. Now we got connected, means we got logged in. So in the previous user, which is root, not root, we have system. In the case of Oracle, we have accounts. table. Can we access that table right here? Select star from accounts. Table or view doesn't exist. So we can't just simply use any tables or try to access any tables which is in different user. So for that we also have to provide access to this user so he can use this table which is from different user. So we have to first go to that user and then we have to provide access to this new user that he can use this particular table. Let's connect to the old one. System. Connect. System. Connected. Let's first show all the list of the tables. Show table name from table name. Not show. Select. So it seems like we don't have any tables in our previous in our system user because maybe we forgot to commit because auto commit is off in case of Oracle. So let's just create a new table. Create table, suppose student PID number CNAME char of type size 10. So table got created. Let's see. Yes, we got all the tables available in MySQL. No, not MySQL, in Oracle. So this is the query that you have to use when you want to access all the tables. In the case of MySQL, what we use is first you have to choose the database and after that, so with show table you can see every table inside the database, but in case of Oracle you have to use this command. So right now we have lot of things that are pre-built in the Oracle. So where is our student? That is going to be there. Let's use the columns. So this is the table that we have made right now. Now we want to access this table from the new user. So for doing that, first we have to grant access to the new user so he can access this table. If we are going to connect and connected, if we want to access, suppose we are accessing the student table which is in different user, then the object student doesn't exist, so we have to provide access to new user so he can access the table. And this, for doing this we have to first go in our previous user which is system by default, and how to grant access to the new user. So for doing that, we use this syntax grant create session, so we become able to log in as the new user. Now to provide the grant access, what we have to do, grant select granting select command, grant select on table name to the user. So what we are doing, we are using granting select command on student table to the user. So grant succeeded. Let's connect. We got connected. If now we try to access a student, we can access that. So why it's not working? Because we granted the select statement. So this is not going to work. So for that, select from students. So even now it's not happening. So the main reason for that is we have to access it not directly as table. We have to do system dot. So system from system user, we are getting this table. No rows available, so it's working. So we have to do this like this. Let's insert some values inside this table. Search into student values. So table or view doesn't exist. Why this is happening? Because we have to also grant this insert command to this table in this new user. Here what we did is we only provided grant on select command to this table to the new user. So we also have to provide the grant insert on this table to new user. So for doing that, we have to go back to the old one, which is system old password. What we have to do is we have to grant insert on table to the new user, which is this. Grant accessed. Now we are going to insert some data. Be aware of syntaxes every time. Insert into a student values 1 Raj insert is into student. So why it's not working? Because again, before the student table, we have to provide the default username. So it's going to be like this: system.student. Remember when we are doing customer.cid, accounts.mycid, this is the same one. Insert into system.student. So here we inserted our data. Let's use select statement because we also have privilege for select statement. It's not going to work. It's have to be like this. So this is the data. What if we want to delete this data? Delete from system.student. Suppose where PID is 1. Insufficient privileges. So we also have to provide privilege to the delete command like this. We have provided privilege to the select. We have provided privilege to the insert. Now we have to provide grant delete. Now we have to provide grant delete on table to this new user. So then after we will become deleting the records from the new user. That's how it works. So we have to go back, connect. If we are going to grant delete privilege, then after that we can delete this data from the new user. What's if we want to end the privilege or destroy the privilege that we have given right now to the new user? Suppose you are my employee and I give the privilege to you, so you can insert values in this following table. So I give the privilege to you, which is I provided granted for insert query on this table to your user ID. So you can now insert inside this table. What if we want to revoke? We want to delete this grant from you, so you can't insert any values in the particular table. So how to do that? Right now I'm connected with the system. So what we have to use is revoke grant on student from the username. Let's see. So not like this. We have to just revoke grant on, not on. Not even grant. We have to revoke insert. First, what we did, we provided grant insert on this table to new user. Now we are revoking revoke insert from this user. So we don't have to provide the table name right here. So revoke insert from this user. Revoke insert or select from user. So likewise we can also revoke the select, so user even can't select, or we can revoke the delete. Right now we are revoking insert. So here So we have to provide the table name. What we did is revoke insert on this table from this user. At the time of providing grant, what we did is grant insert on table to this user. Now we are using revoke insert on this particular table to from this particular user. So now revoke is successed. Let's connect. So it's wrong. Connect. If we are trying to insert into a student some value, suppose 2 and Kumar, then it's giving insert into student Kumar, missing select keyword. That's not missing. What is happening is, yes, table or view does not exist. So we revoke the privilege from the insertion on this table to this particular user. So this is how you grant the privilege, you revoke the privilege. You can grant privilege to select query, to insert, to delete, to maybe update. This is how you do. Same you can do in the case of MySQL. Let me give you example. So in case of MySQL, the MySQL command line is not giving you a scope to log in as, so we logged in right here in our command prompt. Suppose here what we are going to do is we are providing grant select on students to. So in case of MySQL, how to do that? In case of MySQL, you have to do this in single quote. So we are using grant select on this table to, and then we have to provide name of the new user, and then which is going to be identified by password also. So in the case of Oracle, we don't have to use this single quotes or this identified by the password, but in the case of MySQL, here it goes. Syntax goes like this. Here is the example. In the case of MySQL, you have to grant select on particular table to the user, which is going to identified by the user. Let's see. FID, FIED. Okay, without even providing the identified by password, it's granted the select query for this user. So it's same in both case of MySQL and Oracle. You have to use grant and then select or maybe insert or delete or update on this particular table to the user. The only difference is here in case of MySQL we have to provide it under single quote. So now we have privilege for this user. Let's try to access the student. Select star from students. Database selected. So, or maybe this will also work something like this. Root, or let's see. So, data bases. So of course the database also got here. So first you have to use test, because in the case of Oracle we didn't have this concept of database. So suppose it's folder, inside this folder we got a student table. Select star from students. Now we can access, we can use this select statement. What if we want to insert into student, suppose only for SID, values 99. Insert command denied to the user this from the for the table students, because we didn't provide the grant to insert statement. Let's just see that how to provide. We granted select, we have to grant insert. Now query is okay. If we are going to run this same command, then look, query is okay, it got inserted. Here we have 99. If we want to revoke, then again we can revoke grant, revoke insert. Let's see if it work or not. Oh, it's not, it didn't work. From revoking insert from this user. Revoke insert on students from, yes, we got the query, okay. Now we want to revoke. Now insert is revoked. What if we trying to insert now, suppose 909. So access denied, insert command denied for this. So how to revoke? In case of MySQL, revoke insert on this table from this user. And in case of Oracle, where is that revoke query? Revoke insert on this table from this user. So the query is basically same. So this is how you use to make new user, then log in with that user, how you provide access to those users so they can provide updation, deletion, insertion on your database. So this is basically end of our PDF. So now our database is completed, in which we covered SQL type of databases, in which we saw Oracle and MySQL, how to work with the SQL database of Oracle and MySQL. We covered the queries. We have gone through this PDF. We know how to do the admin part, how to do transaction management, commit, rollback, and other things. So this is the end of basically this tutorial. So the important thing that you can take away from here is that unless until you do the practice by yourself, so here are the lot of practice lab in this tutorial, you can't learn simply the database. Database is all about writing the queries and seeing the output, what is coming back. That's how you can configure by yourself that which query is doing what work, which doing which query is responsible for returning what outputs. So this is what database is all about. Just do the practice lab. That's all you need to learn the database. So here you are now capable of doing the database along with the Java or along with other programming language you are doing. You can store your data inside the database. You can retrieve the data. You can update those data. You can change the columns. You can alter the columns. So that's the end of this video. Make sure that you do the practice labs and do the codings, and also don't forget to get the printout of this PDF, because this PDF is going to benefits you more rather than this video. If you are just going to take printout of this PDF and walk through from top to bottom, that's enough for learning database. So that's all for database.